Shawn, are you ready?
I'm ready to put my balls on the table.
We're looking forward to those balls.
Let's go.
Our guest today is an accredited actor who gained international recognition for his role in X-Men. He starred with Kevin Bacon on Fox's The Following, and for the last several years, he's been on ABC's hit drama The Rookie. He's also the founder of Peace Neighbor, a tool for every pocket. Shawn, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready to put my balls on the table.
Let's go.
Hey, bud. Welcome.
Thanks, man. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you, man.
Yeah, it's been years since we've seen each other.
Well, it's been a couple years. I think we had a coffee in Studio City.
We did.
But before, when we lived on the same block, we would always see each other.
Yeah, like weekly. So I feel like
Weekly.
I haven't seen you enough. I'm glad to sit down and talk to you today.
Thank you, man. I'm glad to have you here. Thanks for making the effort. So what's going on in your life?
Today, soccer with Oliver, so doing that, the dad life, shooting season 8 of The Rookie.
And for our listeners, Oliver's your son.
Oliver's my son, yeah. And yeah, just kind of feeling really grateful to be a working actor in Los Angeles. That's kind of the big win right now. The industry's tough. So not only to have a gig, but also to have a gig at home where I can be with my family, be with my wife, Dana. It's amazing. So I'm grateful, man.
Where's your attention out like these days? When you get up, you're living in gratitude, which is great. That's a good attitude.
Yeah.
Where's your focus? I know it's on your son and your family and your wife, but
yeah,
where else for you? Like, where do you put your focus?
Family first, and I still have a real passion and a real need to perform and put it into acting and filmmaking and storytelling. I just love it. I grew up in Brampton, Ontario, which is like a suburb outside of Toronto. Had great friends, was a great place to be raised, but I knew that I didn't want to stay in Brampton. It just wasn't for me. And moving to Toronto was the first step. And then once I got to Toronto and I started working there, it was almost like a foregone conclusion. I didn't know it at the time, but I was being driven to achieve this goal, this dream that I always had. And I knew, like, I started acting like my twin brother and I, we were
guys
kids.
Were young.
We were 10 years old. And we sort of fell into it because my mom was asked at a park by a casting director if we wanted to audition for a commercial. And my mom was like, I don't know, what's it for? Yeah, for toys. Hey, boys, you want to audition for a toy commercial? Yeah, sure. Aaron, my twin brother, got the part, but he had a fever on the day. So they brought both of us. And they were like, you hired this one, but he's sick as a dog. So we brought Shawn. And they're like, we'll take the one that's not sick. So I credit Aaron for getting me my first gig.
So you stole Aaron's acting career.
Listen, it was their choice. But I kind of did steal the first gig. And then he worked a bunch on those commercials afterwards. But so just from a young age, I feel like I was into it, and I didn't have to. I think a lot of actors have to make these like big swings. Like, my parents don't want me to do this. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna just move to New York on a whim and like go study. And that was kind of a huge gift for Aaron and I, because we didn't have to do that. Our parents supported it, and the Canadian system doesn't. It's not really a star system, so you can work and train and suck, to be honest, and not be like, well, that was your big chance and now you don't get another one. So I still always think back to how important that was for me growing up, and whatever that thing that was pushing me, I still feel that. I feel a bit satiated, like I've achieved a lot of the things that I wanted to. I feel more confident in the performer and the actor that I am. I don't feel like I need to go out and prove this, but I love to go into work, and I want to do it. Like, I can't imagine stopping. I don't enjoy the grind.
Right.
The
The
grind
long
is
days
hard.
of waiting.
Well, yeah, like, I don't like the long days on set and working, I love, but the between the gig is always the hardest, and I don't miss that. And I've been very lucky to be on a long running show. So I was talking to my brother on the way here, like, I've missed out on that, the scrappy grind. But in the back of my head, I know that one day I'll always have to go back to it. I'm not as excited about that as a 46-year-old man as I was at like 30, where it's like, okay, I'm going to go get this. When I hear some people in the creative industries say, like, it's, you have to enjoy the process in between. That's easier said than done. But I do think that's the truth. Like, and I think as you continue to work and build your career, you can be a little more relaxed between the things. I still have this mindset, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way. It's like, when that job is done, am I ever going to work again? And I feel that every single time. Like, I don't know how many 100 credits I have. Like, between every job, as soon as it ends, I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get the next one.
Totally.
My mom used to say, well, has that ever happened before? Like, the proof is in the pudding. You
Right.
continue to work. Like, you're doing something that's right. So keep doing what you're doing and you will continue to succeed.
Yeah, don't fix anything.
But
it
I
seems
feel
to
like
be working just fine.
in the professional realm, I feel like there isn't another career that has to endure rejection like actors do.
Yeah.
I was married to an actor as well, and I did so many auditions
Yeah.
with her, and it's like you go and you do them and you don't even hear back. You like some
zero
it's
feedback.
Like,
Did you even see that?
Yeah.
I spent 3 hours memorizing it.
Were we recording?
I
Did
had
the
to break
tape
down
work?
and cry,
Yeah.
and then you send it off into the void, and it's like,
Nothing.
was it even for anybody?
Yeah.
Like, did it make the deadline?
That does something to you.
It does.
But every once in a while you'll get a little nugget, like a little piece from the universe that is an encouragement. I know
Sure.
you've gotten this before, because we talked about, in my days I was an actor, and
Yeah.
I've dabbled with it and then eked out a living and doing the writing thing and not been afraid to, okay, I'm not going to go to medical school. I'm
Right.
going to pivot and let my family down and let myself down
Yeah,
and go
see,
do all of
I didn't have to do that,
Go
so
do all of
good
these
on you.
other
You're
things.
brave.
Yeah. You were wiser. You were like, 9 years old, I'm making my decision now.
Yeah.
There are moments when you'll get an email or a phone call from, let's say, a director, or a studio on a script, or that director on that film, that the job you didn't get, where they're like, just wanted you to know what you did was great.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like this in the music industry, because they're like, hey, I don't know if anybody will call and say, we love your record, but we're not going to do it, but keep going.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
that feels good in the creative line of work, like you said, where you send something off and then you wait, and it's like far away in the universe, silence.
Mm-hmm.
You just never hear, and you're like, I can't fucking believe it. Like, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to think? So when you get that feedback, it does give you a little bit of encouragement to keep going.
Yeah. And again, I think you just sort of have to trust that you know what you're doing, because that's like that insecurity and fear of like, oh, I guess I suck.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't hear back is the thing that's hard. And honestly, that tape might have sucked. Maybe that song wasn't your best. Like, there is some truth there. I also think that people, have this false confidence. Like it was a great tape. It's like, no, maybe it wasn't, but that's okay too. Like, that's just all part of the process. And that it took me years in this industry to learn, like, oh, I'm actually in the business of Shawn Ashmore, and you hire people and you think like they're running your business, but they're not. You need to run them, and they help you. And I was
They work for and with you.
100%. And they really do work with you, but they also work for you. And there's this fear of like, well, I don't want to, be the squeaky wheel, or I'm not going to call and complain. I'm like, I'm not complaining. I'm talking with my business partners.
But do you think that there's a time where there's a shift there, right? Because when you're early on, because I've had as a musician, when I first got my first manager, I felt like they were kind of more the boss and helping guide.
Yes.
And then you get to a level of success, and then it sort of shifts.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the work is coming to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, I always thought, yes, I think that's a very, very good point. I used to always think they're getting me the work.
Right.
They're getting me in the room. They have the relationships.
Yeah.
I'm doing my part of this,
That's
and ultimately they're hiring me.
Yes.
But especially when you first come to Los Angeles.
So when did that shift happen for you? At what point in your career was there like a level of success or degree of success that you got where you're like, okay, now I get it. Something switched.
I think sort of like during probably the tail end of the X-Men film runs that I did. I ended up doing 4, but probably after the 3rd film, where I was walking down the street and people were like, hey, I enjoy your work. That's when you're like, okay, I don't need someone to jump up and down and wave the flag as much.
Yeah.
You still need the relationships. You still need to have people putting you in the room. But I think that's kind of where I was like, okay, I'm bringing something of value to this relationship. And I think the most important thing for me was when you've worked with somebody, whether it's a producer, director, writer, and I've done a gig with them, and then they come back. Could be 6 years later. Hey, we've got this film. There's a role in it for you. And that's where my career has sort of gotten to.
Right.
I rarely book gigs from an audition now. That percentage for me hasn't changed. Like, 1 in 40 or whatever.
Right.
But I work more consistently because I've worked with a ton of people. And when I show up to work, I work hard. I try to be easy. I try to be collaborative. And being an easy person to work with
100%
will take you to the top of the
list. It can
list.
definitely carry the day.
In any industry.
100%.
You hear these stories of people who are really difficult to work with. And I heard one yesterday. I don't remember who it was, but it was like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to have a judgment on that person because maybe that was a bad day. Everybody has a bad day. I have. I'm sure that I pissed people
Oh yeah,
off.
me too, man. Me too.
I know I have because, people have told me like, dude, that interview was like, you said some really bad things about some other band, and I was like,
I've had bad days. I had a horrible day on a set one time, but I was mad at myself. I couldn't get a scene. I knew I'd worked really hard. It was, and I couldn't reach the level of emotion that I wanted to. And I was fucking frustrated. And I was like, I kind of was yelling and mostly at myself, not at anybody, but.
You weren't going like full Christian Bale.
No, because it wasn't about that, but I was just kind of like, I was like, hey guys, can we roll? Like I was ready, like, like you build yourself up there, and I was like, let's go, guys, come on, and I felt like I was unfair to everybody else who was trying to do their jobs. Like, okay, we have to we're still shooting on film. We have to change the film over. There's stuff to do, and I was just frustrated, and I didn't lash out directly at anybody, but I was kind of an asshole, and I emailed the director and the producer that night to apologize, and the director said. He's since passed. He was a francophone guy from Montreal, really passionate, interesting filmmaker. But he said you weren't an asshole. You were passionate about your work, and you should never apologize for that. He's like, you didn't take it out on anybody. We all knew you were taking it out on yourself. You were kind of upset and yelling or whatever, but it was clearly about you.
Yeah.
And I went to set the next day and I apologized to everybody, and everybody's like, yeah, it's cool, man. Like,
I mean,
no big deal.
Your version of asshole strikes me as like my version of kind.
Well, yeah, maybe, but I felt like.
You felt like
just
this
felt like
isn't the representation of
But
how I want to show up.
That's cool because you took responsibility for how you felt.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you may have thought anybody else thought about you, you were like, I need to do this. It's like you need to do it for you.
Yeah.
To kind of clear things.
Because this is, exactly. I need to, and again, it's like, it wasn't about anybody else. Yeah. That's what I don't like. When someone's an asshole, it's clearly like, well, you can't get there. You're having a shit day, or the scene's not going well, and then you're pissed at whoever, the other actor, the director, the writer. Like this script, it's like, you've had that script for 3 months, and like, if you had a problem, you should have brought it up.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, we're in the moment now, and you can't do what you know is expected of you, and now you're mad.
That's right. And in that moment, as artists, there's a lot of electricity in what you're feeling, and you're trying to work with other people.
Part of being an artist.
It's part of being an artist, and it's like, hey, do me a favor and just turn it down or turn it up or modulate it. It's like, as humans, we don't work that way.
These are things we kind of have to go through in order to learn and go and try to catch those moments before they as they're bubbling up. I've been dealing with anger management issues that only came up since having kids.
Oh, interesting.
Because I was like, this is bringing some stuff up between me and my dad, or things that my dad used to do, and am I turning into my dad?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, bro. So I can relate to that. Having an 8-year-old, I'm definitely, so my wife Dana is the most incredible mother. I feel so grateful, and I feel like Oliver is so lucky. I had a fantastic mother too, and dad. But yeah, my dad had a bit of a temper. My dad was like strict in a lot of ways. He was also like OCD clean, which growing up, I rebelled against completely. Sure. I'm like, my room is a mess. I'm like, whatever. He would like, hey guys, clean up the room, and then I would clean up, and then he would come through, and it wasn't good enough, and he would clean it up.
My dad,
mow the lawn, whatever.
No,
he's like, the lines aren't straight.
You're not done.
Yeah. So, but he would just come in and do it, like finish it up, because he legit had like OCD. He was like, it needed to be done a certain way, and again, I rebelled against that. I was like, I'm not a tidy person, whatever. Now, in my older age, since I have a kid, now I'm my dad, calling him out, like getting him to tidy his room.
So look at what you've absorbed from your father.
But 100%. It was in there. It was deep in there. I would think I was rebelling against it, and now, but for me, it's control. I know 100%. It's just control. Yeah. I'm like, if the house isn't tidy, I feel like there's a certain level of chaos, and I think I could maintain it when it was my chaos.
You're speaking.
Yeah.
Man,
everyone, this is why Shawn and Tony have clean houses.
I've gone to therapy for this.
Yeah.
Like I have an obsession with the vacuum.
Call me next time, man.
The vacuum is like important. It has to be like an expensive vacuum. It has to do, like I get into that. Like the kitchen has to be clean. Or I start stressing out.
Yeah.
And my now ex-wife, we have a good relationship, but she's just like, you just go into these manic episodes where, and I start lashing out and I start saying things that, and so it's about catching yourself before you spin out.
I wonder if women hold on to stuff for sure, where men can we're a little bit more volcanic. and then
Yeah.
it goes. But
Yes.
then like and it goes quick sometimes.
Yeah.
And how do we deal with it?
Oh yeah, I go from 0 to 100 for sure, and it doesn't happen often, but when it does, and but I also feel it building. Like anxiety in my body, I feel it. I'm very aware of it. I'm really lucky that I don't feel like I've kind of figured out how to like manage, because I feel like everybody has anxiety. I don't know,
Sure.
but I definitely, but I can feel it bubbling. Like I have like a week long sort of thing where, and often I don't know what it's about, right? Sometimes it's about I haven't gotten a job. I'm worried about money. Sometimes it's about I've gotten the job. Now I have this huge opportunity that I'm really nervous about. I need to do a good job to prove to myself, to the people I'm working with. So like I have different reasons for anxiety, but my point being is like, there's always some space for anxiety. Again, I don't have the job, I'm anxious. I got the job, I'm anxious. There's all this cycle of.
So that's interesting, because I feel like you're talking in hindsight, but in that moment, do you have a relationship with your wife where you can open up and say, this is how I'm feeling this way. This is why I'm feeling anxious?
No, but she knows me so well, and because she can read me, she calls me out in a good way.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, unless we're in an argument, then it's hard.
Yes.
But if she catches me ahead of time, I'm like, I can kind of check myself.
You can reflect in the moment.
Yeah, and just take some time, do something, be like, okay, yeah, like if I'm being harsh in my discipline or whatever. But again, that's an argument sometimes we have too. I'm like, I'm with you. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, I agree with you. And also our kids are all different, right? So I see some like more sort of disciplinary action that really works with kids. My son is like very, very sensitive. So that doesn't work with him. And I see that. And she's like, do you see, like, I understand that that's what works for you, or that's how you want to do it, but it obviously doesn't work for him. I'm like, no, you're 100% right. If we go, I have to be a little more patient. We have to like work the problem a little bit, allow him to have like a blow up without getting, I can't be pissed at that. I'm like, dude, go punch the pillow, yell, scream, do the thing. It makes me mad. You know what I mean? That kind of, I'm like,
he's destroying what I've just cleaned.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know exactly know what that is, but it makes me mad. Like I physically am like, dude, get your shit together, kind of thing, in my brain.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he's 8, dude.
And
kids
son,
are a mirror in a lot of ways that we don't intend them to be. Like they show us what we felt when we were that age that pissed us off.
That's
what we couldn't
secret.
And what we couldn't control. So guess what? We're like, I'm gonna fucking control it right now, Oliver. I'm gonna control it right now.
But it's true. But this, honestly, you nailed it to me. That the secret is when I put myself, little 8-year-old Shawn, to where Oliver was, I would do the exact same thing. I'd feel the exact same way, and I wasn't maybe allowed to feel it at the time. So it's like, dude, have that.
Yes.
Like, you're having a freak out, have the freak out. We're gonna figure out afterwards. We're gonna talk through this. We're gonna like
modern parenting, and like we have more access to, and I don't think we talk about this stuff enough amongst friends, but we do have access to obviously the internet and social media and people who are like, hey,
Instagram gurus.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but I mean,
is this right? Are you right about this?
Some of them are like, I'm gonna test this.
You're in the algorithm, but like, are you an expert?
Yeah, well, that's my thing. I'm like, that seems reasonable, but I'm like, I don't know who you are.
And
like,
then you look into their past, and like, oh wow, long arrest record. Okay.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. Studies have shown, like, what the fuck? It's like, what
which studies?
Like, what? But no, I think it's interesting because I have a 7-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl, and the difference between having a boy and a girl it's so vastly different.
Right.
I feel like the boys, they just explode emotionally, and the girls are more like composed, and I think that happens later on. Am I right?
You're right. Yeah. I have a 14-year-old teenage daughter who now, it's so interesting. A big filmmaker that we can talk about off camera said to me, who's got his own two daughters, said, do more listening at this age than talking. And I had to apply that because I found myself, the thing that drives me nuts, and we'll get into this later, like pet peeves of women, but the thing that was my pet peeve about women was nagging. Like, okay, I got it. I heard you. You only get to say it once.
Right.
Like, these work. I'm processing. Well, why the third time and the fourth time? The nagging drives me nuts. And I found myself doing that.
Right.
To my daughter in certain circumstances. And she was, and the look went from love to hate. Like, like, I hate you, Dad. Like, I hate you too.
Yeah,
quite quickly.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful because she's healthy. She's super smart. She's emotionally aware and dialed in. But at this age, it's they're emotional and go nuts too. I'm like, you want to have an explosion? You want to talk it out? She's a single child like you and Dana. So there's no sibling to run to or to take it out on.
Right.
So it's like, let's unpack it together. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think that's the important part. And the thing that, and I've talked to my mom about it. The part of the puzzle that I didn't have as a kid is like, we didn't talk it out afterwards. It was kind of like, here's what we're going to do. You're in trouble. And then there wasn't that. So I wasn't even really aware that conversation can happen. So it's safe to have a huge explosive feeling, a meltdown or whatever, because we're going to put it together afterwards. And I think that's the part of the puzzle that if you miss that, because I feel like some modern parenting is like, let the kids do whatever. But then there's not the lesson or the repair afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like, well, because sometimes I still feel like that's not the best behavior. Like you have that feeling. We all want to yell and scream. We've just learned to put the armor on and go through the day and realize like it doesn't usually get us through, you know what I mean? And
I do. Yeah.
So if we can teach them at this age, this is my viewpoint, that you're allowed to have all those feelings. You will have all those feelings. Not only that, I have all those feelings every day. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm ecstatic. I'm like all those things. I go through it all. Now you have to try to bring that with you through the day. And if you have that huge moment at school, let's like feel it, whatever, come home, let it out. And let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. And I feel very grateful that Oliver talks to us about everything. And like, that's the most important thing to me that I want to hold on to is like, let's keep talking.
I love that.
I didn't have the physical touch kind of relationship with my dad. He was a very sort of standoff.
yeah.
You come down in the morning, you give him a hug and a kiss, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no cuddling, right? And so when my son has a full, like, level 10 meltdown, right? Sometimes I stop and I go, hey, buddy, why don't we sit on the couch and like have a cuddle? And sometimes he rejects it a little bit. And then I go, no, come on, let's sit on the couch. And so much gets resolved just by him and I cuddling,
proximity,
and we
physical
talk.
touch.
We talk while we're cuddling.
And
I never had that with my dad.
I don't think I did.
And we kiss, and I play with him, and we do rough play.
Right.
We do it all, but we do it, And sometimes he'll say something, or he'll like bite me, or do something that was way too hard, and I go, "Hey, that hurts," and he goes, "Yeah, but you were too rough." I go, "Buddy, you need to tell me. We need to talk." So it's like we're creating these boundaries, but that physical touch is something that I didn't have that much of. I had more with my mom, maybe, but I think as the modern dad, I think it's important to go there.
I have told my son, and I was like, you tell me when you're done, but like there will be a day that you don't want me to pick you up anymore, but I want to pick you up. So I always
I'm
ask him,
still going to do it.
Can I pick you up? And he's like, yeah. And because truly, and I don't know what it was, but like when he got to that toddler age, when he wasn't like, with a baby, you're always holding him, but when they become like a little kid, picking him up and walking him in the world in public was to me like the most, I felt so proud. I felt so happy. I felt so loved. I felt so connected to him. So I tell him like, I've told him that since he was this big. I was like, my favorite thing is to pick you up. Yeah. So whenever you're done with it, I totally get it. But if you let me pick you up. So even when I come home from work and he comes, and he wants to give me a hug, I'm like, can I pick you up? He's like, yeah. So I just pick him up, and that's how I give him a hug.
So what's that day going to feel like when he says?
Well, there's something, again, I saw this on Instagram or something, like you'll never know the last time you pick your son up.
So that's beautiful, man. And not having a son, just having a daughter, I don't know what that's like. My dad, I could, and it's not an exaggeration, I could count on both hands how many times he said, I love you.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And, physical affection was not his forte. He was married many, many times and had many girlfriends and had multiple girlfriends when he did die. But a therapist told me something beautiful, and this might be applicable for your boys as they get older. With girls, I don't want to say boys or girls are more sensitive, especially in this year, in this day and age. Everybody's tapping into that sensitivity, which is cool. As long as they don't use it to manipulate to get what they want.
Yeah.
But this therapist said, when you're struggling to connect with your kid, and you want her to, in my case, you want her to hear you because what you have to say is important. What's your approach? And I told him, he's like, okay, don't do that.
Right.
He's like,
what?
I was like, really? This is making a lot of sense. He goes, you sit down and you gently just take her by the hand. And he was so right. It diffused her emotional anxiety about having this tense conversation.
Right. Just a
louder, just a little bit of
moment of physical connection.
you're safe.
Yeah.
And that's all this is. And now you can tell me whatever you need to tell me.
Yeah. Crazy, man. Being a parent's wild.
So like no more like when you guys can't hug anymore. Just,
all the things they don't tell you, like when they're just like, here's your baby, go ahead.
Well, that's the other thing.
You're like, are you sure?
Well, I'd never changed a diaper. I hadn't been around kids. I knew nothing about kids. My brother has 2 daughters, and his eldest daughter is a couple years older than Oliver. So the first time he brought her down because he lives up in Toronto.
Shout out to Aaron.
Aaron, what up, Aaron? But he's like, you should change your diaper probably before you have yours. And I was like, oh. And
how'd that go?
He kind of it was fine actually. Yeah, it was a little weird.
What
I was
about
like,
swaddle?
okay.
What about the swaddle? You
Well,
get it swaddling?
I figured the swaddle out. I did the whole thing. I got really good.
Dude, I almost killed my daughter the first day we brought her over to the hospital.
I smashed the swaddle. I was like looking at YouTube videos. I was like, oh, I can do it better.
I remember the swaddle because my daughter's 14, and I think the swaddle was fine. But I was a younger dad in that regard, and I remember putting Charlie in the crib and like kind of dressing it in an obnoxious way. I was like, the blanket's perfect, and then the hat's perfect, and like the pillow, and like she's covered up. And I took a picture of her, and I put her to bed, and she's completely covered up. And I sent it to a dad friend, and he goes, "What, dude?
Get the head off.
He goes, get the fucking blanket off.
Yeah.
Like if she rolls, she's not going to be able to breathe." And it was like night 1 from the hospital.
Yeah, you're like,
I was
what?
Oh my God. So I took it all off, and I was like, just basically mostly naked in the crib from now on.
Yeah.
And but
all the stuff that
nobody
but also like you should know, like my wife gave me a book, what to expect when you're like that thing.
Did you read it?
No,
of course not.
No, and I'm just like, what an asshole.
And you gave it to another dad.
I gave it. Hey, you should read this. It's really helpful. But I will say for new fathers, I wish that I had been more sensitive and engaged. I don't feel like I did as much work as I probably should have. You know what I mean? Like I would just
did you get shit for it?
Not really, but we would get into arguments about stuff, and then in hindsight, like after I was like, yeah, like she's the one that's not sleeping. She's getting up to breastfeed. Yeah. She's having this huge rush of hormones and stuff like that. Yeah. She had a C-section, which she did not want. Like all that still, like there was physical effects and things that happened, all this shit. And I was like, and she had to carry a baby for 9 months. And that was, and that's the other thing. Men are going to be behind the 8 ball in a certain extent because your partner, your wife, whoever has been growing a baby inside them for 9 months. And that's a huge, scary, exciting, beautiful physical toll on them, right? And it's true. It's like you can't make up for that. Like as a dad, as a partner, you can't make up for that. We can't. So it's like, I guess that's kind of where I'm going. It's like there's this huge process that is necessary, and it's not like I always make a joke like I'd carry the baby if I could, honey, and it's like I don't think I could handle it. Like really, truly, like I don't think I could. I think
they're heroes,
1,000%.
I remember, like that was the first thing I thought. I was
just
like,
a shame I
holy
can't
shit,
carry.
That was
facetiously I would say that.
16-hour labor.
Yeah,
that was like induced with Pitocin.
Yeah,
and it's so fucking hardcore, right? You go, I don't know if I can.
I don't. Dana had induced with Pitocin and then had to have a C-section.
Right.
It's 24 hours, like a whole thing, And I was like, oh my God, man. Like, so all that to say, there's a certain level of like, I wish that I had been a little more engaged, a little more prepared because I didn't prepare. I didn't read the books. I didn't do the things. I didn't do all the stuff that like, what an asshole.
Did you do any of the, we did the calm birthing classes. Did you ever do any
We didn't do, actually.
I don't know if it was it was super hippy dippy. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah,
like,
I don't think we really did.
We're doing these things called rainbow meditations, which were like.
Walk us through one.
Yeah, please.
It's just like you close your eyes and you do this. We would do it together before the baby was born. We'd listen to this audio tape with this woman with a Boston accent. I'm from the Boston area, so I was just like, oh, this is weird. Just this woman with a and I would fall asleep every time.
Right, it's working.
And she's like, what did you think? And I'm like,
I felt so relaxed.
It was hard to stay awake.
It was super relaxing.
That's right.
Oh, great.
It's wicked hard.
It's wicked hard.
This thing's gonna be wicked hard. We got it though.
This episode was shot on Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Pro cameras. So if it looks better than it probably should, now you know why. If you're a filmmaker, content creator, or podcaster who cares about cinematic quality, Blackmagic is the real deal.
So when I moved to LA on my own,
Yeah.
I was super lonely. Man,
Right.
I was living at this place called the Highland Gardens. It's it's like a motel, hotel, like Melrose Place style thing. It's right next to the Magic Castle in
yeah.
Hollywood. They at the time,
it's a great story.
Yeah.
well, at the time they dubbed it the Canadian Embassy. So I was getting headshots before I moved down here.
Okay.
This big photographer in Toronto, and he's like, "Oh, you're going to LA for pilot season? That's exciting. Like, where are you going to stay?" And I was like, "I don't really know. I'm trying to figure it out." He's like, "You should stay at the embassy, the Canadian Embassy." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." And he's like, "No. We call the Highland Gardens the Canadian Embassy because all the Canadian actors
They've got rooms. It's
for yeah." I'm like, "That's great. The Canadian government's very generous."
You go down to LA for pilot season, and you come out like you're just associate diplomat.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, I've got my diplomatic immunity now, and so anyway, the Highland Gardens was this place where a ton of Canadians came down and stayed. So there was this kind of like built-in community. So I knew a lot of the people that stayed there. If I didn't know them, at least I knew of them, or they were like, everyone had made this big journey, and we were all kind of there. We were all competing, but it was kind of like, okay, this feels like a safe home base. You're supposed to stay there for a couple months. I ended up living there for like years. So it got kind of weird.
You still get mail there. They're like,
Yeah, but it's a weird place. Like when it's not pilot season, like there definitely were adult films made there,
Oh, wow.
and there was a bank robber that was staying next to me, got arrested in the middle of the night. Like it's just a weird place. But and you'll have to ask your friend that's in Jet.
Yeah.
So I remember one day looking down and seeing these guys that look like prototypical rock stars walking in. Like I was like, who are these guys? And then it went around the grapevine like, oh yeah, they're opening for like the Stones or something, some major band. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like everyone's kind of talks a big game
Oasis
there.
Or something.
I just know it was like a major rock band, you know, and we're at the time, like everyone that shows up there is talking a big game. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, well, what's the band's name? And they're like, oh, Jet. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'll never hear from these guys. And then like 2 weeks later on K-Rock, I'm listening and I'm like, and it's Jet. And I was like, oh, those guys were serious. Like they were in town to play a huge show and they're actually rock stars. So it was kind of funny. But that's the kind of place it was. You never knew who was going to come in and out.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of cool.
When you argue, do you argue to win or to understand?
I argue to win.
Yeah.
I think I argue to win the first half of the argument. And then I can recognize where it's going. And then I'm like, oh yeah, this doesn't make sense. Like I have to bite my tongue. I have to not say the thing. I'm not cruel when I argue. Like that's the one thing with Dana and I, we never go below the belt, but I'll keep it going. And she's like, I understand what you're saying. You've said it like 15 times. And then she gets crazy because she's like, you keep saying the same. You're trying to make me understand your point. I understand your point. I just don't agree with it. I fight to win, but I'm trying to be better. I love you, honey. Love you, Dana.
Shout out to Dana. She's at scheduled sex or spontaneous?
Scheduled. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't always like obviously it graduates to that, doesn't it?
I also think like when you're with somebody for so long, the spontaneity is different. You know what I mean? Just in general, forget about kids. I just think that it's like that's my experience anyway.
Silent quickie or all night marathon?
Silent quickie. I'm not gonna lie.
Totally.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's not happening. It's not happening regularly for me. So I'll go all night marathon because that just sounds.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah.
When was the last time you cleared your search history?
Oh, I don't think. I honestly have no idea. I don't clear my search history. Yeah.
Cool. Physical touch or verbal praise?
Verbal praise. Yeah. Yeah.
Not a touchy-feely guy.
I'm not the biggest cuddler. Like
Right.
I'm not. But Dana, I'm not the biggest cuddler.
Does she ask you for cuddles? Does she have
Yes,
to ask
yes.
you?
Oh,
Does
100%.
she have to ask you for that
Oh my
physical
God,
touch?
yes.
And she's like, this is one of my love languages.
100%.
Same with my ex.
100%.
Yeah.
And if I ever need to get in her good graces or if she's had a tough day, a foot rub. I'm like, yeah, that's her absolute favorite thing.
That is amazing.
It's good that you know that.
Oh, well,
this is
she told me.
amazing because
that's good.
This is amazing because you're like, the touch part of me, like I don't initiate him, like, and I fucked up him in the doghouse.
same,
And
though.
now I got to do the thing.
I got the
that
lotion.
doesn't
I'm like, hey,
come
babe.
easy for me.
No, but really, like, but I know, like we talk about that, and she's like, again, that's something I need to do better because Dana's very, 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 very clear. Like I'm never like, well, I wonder what she wants or what she needs.
By the way, and that's
Are
an
women
that's an important
more that
thing.
way? I
Yeah,
feel.
because
Yeah,
I think blanket statement generalizing, but I think I'm right. Women are more clear. They're innately, for whatever reason, On average,
In
better
what-
communicators.
Better
communicating what they
communicators.
want?
That's
They're
it.
better communicators.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On average, I think so. Yeah, because
And it starts at, I mean, it starts early on, but it starts at when they're pregnant. They're like, read this book.
Yeah. We should
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I got a two-part thing.
Okay.
Best thing your father ever said to you,
Mm.
and worst thing your father ever said to you.
The best thing my father ever said to me was that I think his advice and support to follow what I want to do, to give me that, like I talked about, like he said many other things. I mean, he told me how much he loved me and how proud of my work and a career and as a man and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that I always remember that has allowed me to live the life I've lived was like, follow your dream and go do what you want to do. You should do that. I think that's what he said. You should do that. It's great.
What about you? You remember yours?
My dad, like I was always, as I got older, a lot of my friends' dads were more wise and had wisdom to impart,
Mm.
and I didn't have that. Like I became my dad's teacher at a younger age because my parents were both public school teachers.
Mm.
My dad's from Canada as well, from
Oh, right.
Montreal.
Nice. Yeah.
And yeah, like as soon as I moved to LA and I started doing music, and I was like, I'm doing this music thing, and I went to music school, so they knew that was what I was going to do. At the beginning it was like, okay, Tony, you should just go get plan B, go get a job at a bank and, do something. I was like, no, there's no plan B. I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And then when I was like, hey, guess what? Like, we're getting a record deal. We're getting signed by Universal. At that point, there was a shift and they were like, what?
Mm.
And then my dad started researching things and trying to give me advice. And I was like, nah.
Yeah, I've done this.
I'm in it. So there wasn't, and there's never been that sort of like life advice but
yeah, I
still love my dad. Like we have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah.
It's not super close and open and vulnerable and emotional or anything like that. But I got a lot of wisdom from other people's dads.
Yeah.
And ex-girlfriends.
Yeah.
Dads.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I'm going to use that.
Good piece of advice. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say best thing I got was from my grandfather when he said, take a look around you, look at the 5 people closest to you. And I was young, and he's like, and that's who you're on your way to becoming and who you will be.
Mm.
And that always stuck with me. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to hang with the wrong crowd, that's not what I want to do. Or if I'm going to, make a poor choice, I don't want to do that. The worst thing said to me was from my dad. And I remember I have a trove of these, which is I use in all my writing, which was, it was like comedy gold. But I remember once I just wanted him to say like, I love you, I'm proud of you, you did a good job. And I wanted to come clean about something. And he was like, I think I told you a story once. He goes, I always knew you'd be a butt fucker, son. And it was such a wild statement.
What a
wow.
No,
thing
but but
say.
it's a crazy thing to say, but it teaches you the worst thing can be the best thing. Cause you're like, well, that's not true.
Mm.
And the lesson I'm learning in that as an adult is how important what you say is.
Mm.
I mean, I think everybody would answer true on this, but you've been emotionally moved by a sports movie. Yeah.
True, yeah.
Duh. I love
Rudy.
that. Love it. when it
Rudy,
happens.
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about Rudy.
For
Man,
you
Rudy was-
Canadians,
Yeah.
miracle.
Yeah,
I
Miracle's
know it's the
fantastic.
American hockey
Yeah.
team, but
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Field of Dreams was kind of that way, but it was
Oh.
more. I was just more like really into that movie.
Yeah,
I started
that's a very-
memorizing lines like from
Oh,
like
yeah.
monologues, like a.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
like,
that's
there
a
was
very
monologue,
moving movie.
James Earl Jones monologue or something in
Yeah.
there. Like it was just like
That's a great film.
incredible film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think if you're not moved by a sports movie, it's not doing its job.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, like from a storytelling perspective, I think like overcoming, and I think we can all like, you know what I mean? Like that's what those movies are about. It's never about like, hey, we're a runaway team and we're dominating the league. It's like, it's about an underdog
it's an
overcoming.
underdog comeback.
Yeah, you
if
never
you're not-
make like, hey, there's just a story of like
If
this dominant team. It's like, no, nobody cares about that.
That is a great point. Like if Warrior, that movie about 2 brothers who are
That's a
fighters,
great
if
film.
those movies don't like hit an emotional
Yeah.
nerve, you should probably go talk to somebody.
Yeah. Well, or
Come on this show.
or
Or
the-
go see a therapist.
And I actually think a lot of men who aren't comfortable talking about their feelings,
Yeah.
they love those opportunities because they're like, I'm feeling
Oh my God.
something
Yeah.
right now.
Warrior was like incredible, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's seen that movie, a man that's
Shout
seen that
out
movie.
to Gavin O'Connor, an amazing film.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing performances. But yeah, like that's an incredibly moving film. And it's just, hard, masculine guys. I kind of want to watch that again and really figure out why I was so moved. Like, obviously, it's like this, abusive dad and the brothers fighting each other and coming like that. I mean, it's epic. Like, it's an epic kind of family
for you a little bit in a way.
Yeah. I didn't really think like, oh, my brother and I were, but I guess just brothers and a father figure and like all those things. Like, maybe we all could relate to it.
Question, maybe if this is for both of you guys, I'm sure it's connected to being artists and actors, but like, do you ever find yourself daydreaming and just pretending?
I feel like, I think there's like kind of a new agey thing about like, well, put out into the world what it is and you'll have it. Like, whatever. I'm into that. But I feel like I'm doing that my entire career because I've been dreaming about the thing. And maybe with you, I'm sure
I looked up like old report cards where the teacher's like, he's always off into space.
Right.
He's always, and I still do that. But what's interesting is I recently got off social media because for me, I wasn't exercising portion control. So I was doom scrolling, unnecessarily wasting time.
Right.
And since I sort of omitted that out of my life, I found myself able to allow myself to be with myself like more and do the daydreaming and do the thinking and going for the hike and doing that. I think daydreaming's healthy and good. I don't think that everybody does it.
No, I don't think so. So here, this is a slightly off topic, but we talked about Peace Neighbor, this brand that I started, that literally was born. So I obviously like my
Can
work.
We see some, you said
yeah. So my workflow has always been about collaborating with other creative people to tell a story.
Right.
I've never started a business. I've never made anything tangible that you could hold. So I've been just really quickly. I have always had a pocket knife. Swiss Army knife, like buck knife when we were kids. We were out in the woods cutting stuff down, whatever. We had firecrackers. And in hindsight, I was like, we had a Leatherman tool. I was like, Mom, what were you doing? We were like 9. And she's like, I knew that you guys were going to use it for the right reasons. It wasn't a weapon. You're going to you had a little saw on your Swiss Army knife. You guys would build things out in the forest, like forts.
Extra things to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. We didn't use those on each other, thank God. And then I did this TV show called The Following where I played an FBI agent. And I was I think I was 28, 29 when I started that. Had a firearm, and then I was a field agent, and then I would get flashlights, knives, tools. The props guys, every episode would have new stuff. Yeah. And I was like, I love this shit. I don't have firearms. I don't need the guns.
Are the knives real?
Yes, yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
the ones in props.
Yeah.
Right,
So
okay.
if you're going to be really using them around other actors, they'll dull them.
Okay.
But they're real. Yeah, they're real.
Right, okay.
So bottle opener, pry, it's kind of sharp. You can open packages with it. So I don't know if you want to check that out. It's made of titanium. They're all made here in the States.
So you could do a bike tire with that.
100%.
Okay, but give me some other uses for
Tony, can I say
for this one.
So for that, there's bottle opener. It's a pry. It's good for camera gear. It's like a flathead screwdriver. It's sharp enough on the edges that I open Amazon packages with it. Like it tears tape and stuff like that. So and that's just a mini version of that. Basically, you can just
is this like you can
hook there. I just hook it on my pocket. That actually has a pocket clip that goes in your thing, but that can kind of sit in a pocket and stuff.
It's so well made. You can tell when you feel.
Yeah, so it's grade 5 titanium. It's manufactured here in the United States in Texas. But to go back about daydreaming, it was my hobby. I collect them. I love them, and I was like, I want to start designing. I'm not
When was this?
3 years ago.
Okay.
Anyway, to go back to the daydreaming, I just was collecting. I had this urge that I wanted to make my own stuff, and I don't draw. I'm not an artistic guy, but I started sketching and drawing, and I started the branding, the idea, like what I wanted to make, why I wanted to do it. I'm not making a ton of money at it. It's just I absolutely fell in love with the design elements. Finding manufacturers that understand and that are into this kind of specific thing. There's tons of fabricators and stuff, but they don't know how to make knife scales or tools.
But you did a thing, man. Men love to make things.
Yes, and people ask why do you need so many? I think it's a masculine way to accessorize because I carry things I have matched stuff. I'm like all my stuff's gonna be titanium today. All my stuff's gonna be carbon fiber today. I have a lot of stuff.
Do you go and you have cases for them?
I do. Yeah. Well, I actually in my office I actually have a Husky tool thing, and I have cool. But I love it. I love the materials. I love the tactile things. And it's a tool. People are like, oh, weapons. I'm like, I've never once thought about this as self-defense. It's literally I break down boxes, I open packages, but it's just like a vibe. It's
a
like I'm
vibe,
wearing
feeling,
these
yeah.
sneakers today. Like it
Okay.
sounds, but and I think
I
a lot
hope you brought that Husky kit in your car.
yeah, can you imagine? No, I mean, no, it's huge, dude. It's the size of this stack.
Oh,
yeah, you can't.
amazing.
It's
Right.
massive. Yeah.
And they're just
Yeah,
pull out
drawers
and
of
you
like
just,
all
yeah.
stuff that I've
we'll
collected.
we'll buy some. We'll support.
Yeah. I mean, I do drops. So like it's very small runs.
Okay.
So I have like a drop happening and then I announce it and then hopefully they sell it out. And then so I don't have stuff on the website all the time. Like I haven't gotten to that
You
stage.
just do everything's a limited run.
Yeah,
essentially.
limited runs. Yeah. So, and it's interesting. Like, it's expensive stuff. Manufacturing here is crazy.
Totally.
But the daydreaming, I literally was just thinking about what I wanted to do with this, like how I would take this from this idea of like, I'd like to make my own stuff, and wouldn't it be cool if, like, someone was carrying this tool that I thought about, that I was like, I like the design, I like the elements, and then they have it in their hands somewhere. So Peace Neighbor came from that, and I also like the idea that it's kind of hippy dippy, and what we're making is sort of juxtaposition. It's tools
Right.
and masculine stuff, whatever that means.
Semi-weapons.
Yeah. And then the logo, which it's a winged skull with an olive branch, and so my
cool.
dad was a huge bird watcher and lover, and he passed, so
Mm.
that sort of winged skull is representation of him, and then obviously an olive
beautiful.
branch is universal sign of peace, and my son's name is Oliver, so
Oh,
that
cool.
the logo
Yeah.
kind of like is my dad and my son, like that was sort of the
Nice.
idea, and that took me a long time. Like I'm not a graphic designer, I'm not a designer. I do all of our artwork, all the design, and it took me a long time to come to that design, to have some meaning behind it, and also look the way that I wanted it to look. So yeah, it's just been fun. It's been like
It's
a real
fantastic.
adventure. Yeah.
Good for you.
So one of the intentions around the show is to hopefully encourage communication, especially to younger men.
Mm.
I think in sort of closing, I think one of the questions that we like to ask is if
Oh wait,
if there's-
before you do that,
what's
I have one more really important question
Oh,
we ask
sure.
everybody.
Go ahead.
Have you ever shit your pants?
Oh,
Yes.
that's not it.
Yes, I have.
Evan, I was
Yes,
was
I
gonna-
have. That's a very
I was
important
gonna-
question.
I'm sorry, Tony. I had to go
I'll
there.
tell the story.
Tony has a really
I do want to
relevant,
hear the
beautiful
story now.
question.
Yeah.
If
But
there's
this is a great
story-
question.
If there's a story,
No, it's a very quick story, but it's happened once. I was playing football in like, I don't know, junior high behind my house, and my brother tackled me, and I clearly had been like kind of like had a stomach thing, and I shit my pants, and I had to waddle home, and I never lived it down.
Did anybody know?
Everybody knew. I
Oh.
said, I was like, I can shit my pants. I gotta go home. Yeah, it wasn't like a secret. I wasn't at school where I was like, oh, I gotta deal with it. I
It's
just
amazing.
Were
They're
you
like
wearing
this.
the white? Were
They're
you
like
wearing
this.
the white, like
no. I was wearing jeans and like boxers.
Oh,
and
it wasn't like a proper game.
No.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
just
okay, yeah.
like pick up like in the park behind our house. I was like, I gotta
It wasn't a proper game being recorded, but like they're like this Ashmore kid. He's always got excuses. He's going off to do movies.
Yeah.
Now he's staying.
Yeah,
he shit
pooped
his pants. He's gotta go home.
Yeah, that's
Good.
totally happened.
I'm glad you
Thanks for asking.
broke that, because I was
Yeah.
going into something like maybe a bit
Serious and
more-
meaningful, and
No, but, well, I mean, I think
Thank you for
it's-
humoring me.
Yeah.
because we want to appeal to everybody, but I think having these conversations as men are our age is hopefully going to be inspirational to younger men.
Yeah.
So if there was a piece of advice or something you could give to a younger man in their early 20s, maybe just starting off in their career, but like, insofar, not necessarily career-wise,
Mm.
but relationships and communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, something that I feel really lucky about right now is that I've found a really good group of men friends through having a kid. My son's friends, we happen to get along with the parents, and my wife kind of pushed me to do like a guys' night. And I was so against it. I was like, because I didn't know these people.
Feels a bit contrived.
A little
like,
bit, yeah. Like invite everybody over, and I was like, no one's gonna.
What are
wanna
we gonna talk about our
come, and, like,
feelings
yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, bunch
And I
of
was like, and I don't
strangers?
know them. I'm like, I don't know if I like these people. And she's
Book
like, well, that's
club.
how you find out, by the way.
Book club. Tony's like, I just vacuum.
Yeah. What do you do? I like to maniacally vacuum. Do you do that? I do that. But
Dude, we have so much in common.
Yeah. But what? So I reached out to like about 10 guys that I knew. The community at my son's school is pretty tight. Like, so we like people hang out. You can be on the campus and stuff. So it's like you get to know people. And I invited about 10 guys. 8 guys showed up. We barbecued and whatever, and
Of course.
smoked cigars.
Of course.
And it was a fucking blast.
Nice.
And I had a great time. And I was like, oh, I actually really like all these people. I also realized I like being the host.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like. I was like, that's not really my thing. I really liked like being the one to bring people together. And on the way out, everybody was like, dude, you have no idea how much I needed this.
Yep.
Just some guy time, like just hang out. And we
Yes.
didn't even know each other. And that's what they all said. It's like, I didn't want to come.
We
I
don't
didn't
even know how much we need this.
Yes.
And until we do it, and then we're like, whoa.
Well,
And what's crazy
exactly
is then we
right.
forget,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
but
then it's
I haven't forgotten now
good,
because,
good.
and I do it, like I'm the guy that does it. So like every month and a half, I just send out the group text and sometimes people can come, sometimes they can't. Sometimes we bring a few more people in.
Mhm.
And so I think to try to have like a guy group, and that's hard.
Yeah.
And I tell my brother doesn't really have that. And I say to him, I'm like, dude, just do what I did. Like invite 4 people for a game, for a barbecue. Like they may not know you, but if you know them well enough, you see them around school, like just do it. And he's really reluctant to do it. So, and that's fine. I'm like, I'm not going to push you to do it, but I actually think you will enjoy it. So
because you were reluctant, you loved it, and hopefully it'll follow suit.
Yeah. And just take that chance, I guess, and I think it's hard for adults in general as you get older to make friends. I feel like you're like, well, it was so easy, but like time's hard, and now everyone has baggage as you age and go through your life. But I think it's really important to sort of have that. Being the person that brings people together might actually really help somebody out. So
That's true.
Yeah.
it's simple. That's not a complex thing, but I do think like try to like cultivate some friends.
Yeah, and I would say to men, like, you can't teach taste. We all know that saying, but like I would say to men out there, aim for it. Aim for having good taste in not what you do for work necessarily, or not how you dress, but like who you want to spend your time with, who you want to invite into your life. We asked some of our guests too, Shawn, if you could leave a question for another guest coming in at some point.
Oh,
what would a question be?
Within the zeitgeist of
yeah. Can you imagine if I came with something random like,
Yeah, you're like,
how fast does your car go?
Underwear or briefs?
I guess I would leave a question, maybe ask something like, if you could have, if you don't have your parents, because my dad passed, if you could have one last conversation, like bring them back for this, like an hour, what would you talk about? What questions would you ask? I have things that I would want to ask my dad that I don't, like he told me stories about something in his past as a kid, and I forgot a detail of it, and there's no one else I can ask. My mom's like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Wow.
My grandma's gone or whatever. So, and that kind of haunts me a little bit. Like, it just is what it is. But I'm like, fuck, man, I wish I could remember that. I wish I had paid more attention, or I don't remember that detail of that great, funny story he told me. I can't ask him now.
I love
So
that.
if you could have that conversation again, what would you talk about? What would you say?
Who and what?
And you only
Yeah.
had maybe a half an hour to do
Yeah,
it.
like
you know
this,
what I mean? Just
like
limited time.
Yeah,
What
not
would-
one question,
yeah.
but like if you could sit face to face with that person that you, again, mine would be with my dad. Like, what would we talk about? What would we say? We didn't talk that much while he was living, and I knew he was dying. He died of cancer, so it's like, and I knew, I went back and spent like a week.
I remember
with him.
I remember that when you were going back.
Yeah, and so I went back, and it was during COVID, so I spent a whole week at home with them, and we didn't really talk about anything. That was his way, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna.
And that I think is a very generational thing with some men, and maybe we'll be like that when we get older. It's just the knowing. I remember before my grandfather passed, he just did it. He did something with his hand, like the way he put his hand on my leg. It was like he was talking and telling me everything as much as he wanted to.
Well, I just wanted to be there with him. Like my dad watched these like true crime kind of things, like cold case files and stuff, and like every night for hours, that's what we do. We just sit there. You want to watch another one? Yeah, let's watch another one. That's what we did, you know? And in hindsight, even at the time I knew, I was like, maybe we could be talking about something or having, but that's not what he wanted.
That was your way of
But you
bonding.
were.
Yeah. So we just were there together, and
But that's great.
yeah, it was.
Like,
it was.
You knew that. Yeah, I think when you know the extent of and the way that you bond, and you just accept that that's the way that it is, and not try to change something that just can't be changed.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had to go there with my dad, and I'm like, this is
just what it is. Yeah, and it's okay. It's
and
not,
that's great.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
maybe exactly what you want, but
Yeah.
But again, and I don't know what I would talk to my dad about. I would ask him. There was a story about, I think he's like drunk driving through a field or something like that. And there was a detail that I was like, wait.
Sounds great already.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he had some
Maybe
great
you'd want to
stories.
talk to him about that.
Yeah. Well, there's a detail in that story that I want to know, but also like really, like I'm not sure where the conversation would go, but I would definitely be like, hey, this is our time.
Yeah.
I want to let's dig in. Like, let's have something. I want to hear some stuff, man. Like, let me hear it. Like,
yeah. Nice.
what is it?
I like that question.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Well,
I mean,
Well, off the record after the show, I'll talk to you about somebody. I can link you up with. Maybe she can help
Connect
you.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually think that I'm very open to all of those things. And I after my dad died, I was kind of like, okay, well, like it's over. And like, I didn't know like, well, what are you going to feel? And are you going to have a connection? But I had a dream where I never remember my dreams, but I had a dream where I was in like a Sizzler or something like that, like some kind of like restaurant. And I saw my grandfather and I was like, oh my God. Like, and I was really engaged in this dream. I was feeling a lot. And I hugged my grandfather. And when I did that, my dad was standing over his shoulder and I woke up and but I was sobbing. I was crying. I was bawling.
Wow.
But I feel like that was him.
He was trying to get to you.
Yeah. It was just a moment. It was just a connection.
Was
like
this
before.
recently, or?
Well, he passed like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like it was maybe 8 months after he died.
Okay.
So like not that recent, but like, and it wasn't right after he died but I mean, he was there.
Question, I know your dad's still alive. My dad died about 9 years ago, and I would have dreams, and they were kind of haunting, and some were sweet. But what stuck with me for a really long time, which would come up in random places, was his smell. I would be out, and I would be like,
"Oh, that's interesting."
I smell my dad.
My dad used to wear
in a very
Obsession,
clear way,
Calvin Klein Obsession. So like specifically, like
I would have much rather my dad wore an Obsession.
That was his cologne. So it's
it.
Like when I smell, that's not really popular, I don't think anymore. But I do like when I smell that, I'm like, oh my God, that's my dad.
It was popular.
Yeah. So when I think about my dad, the other thing that my mom did that was really,
cool.
really, really sweet and kind of cool was she made myself, Aaron, and all the grandkids these cool little bags from my dad's favorite jeans and a plaid shirt. My mom's like a seamstress, like so
cool.
Like I have like a little bag
of
his favorite stuff.
Made of his favorite like 2 favorite garments, and everyone always got a little jean thing.
Wow,
and
it's
just kind of a cool like
that's a very sweet little treasure.
Yeah. And I was like, and I really cherish that, even though it's just like, it's like whatever. But I was like, oh yeah, I know that shirt and I know those pants, so it was kind of cool.
Well, that's cool because one day, long far from now, Oliver's going to inherit a Husky case.
Yeah, of knives and like, I'm going to try and downsize it by the time, so he doesn't have to deal with that. He's probably going to be like, oh God, I hate knives.
Well, this has been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, man, I want to keep going for hours, but we got to.
I appreciate the time, guys. This is really, really fun.
Brother, thank you so much. You can definitely have your balls back.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for putting them on the table.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Thanks so much to our guests and our listeners for today's show, which was recorded at Mary Pickford Film Studios. This episode was produced by J.K. Da Silva, Ignacio Gonzalez sound engineered, and Spencer Rollins shot it. Dean Gonzalez edited and co-produced it. Special thanks, shout out to Joachim Horsley, Brandon Morgan, and Jason Brahms. Original music all done by Antonio Bellavo. That's Tony's fancy name. Make sure to follow and subscribe to Balls on the Table on your favorite podcast platform. And drop us a line at ballsonthetable.com. We'll be back soon to talk about all the things men need and what Tony and I want to talk about.